Toward a Cancer-Free World, presented by 10 TV and The James.
On our journey toward a cancer-free world, regular screenings and a recommended vaccine can significantly reduce the risk for cervical cancer.
Cervical dysplasia is a very common precancerous condition of the cervix that, if left untreated, can develop into cervical cancer. Women who are sexually active generally have been exposed to the human papillomavirus, or HPV, and therefore that's the greatest risk for the development of the HPV-related diseases like cervical dysplasia.
How has the HPV vaccine reduced the risk of cervical cancer?
It's estimated that about a 50% reduction in the rate of cervical dysplasia was seen after the introduction of the vaccine. It's assumed that if you don't get cervical dysplasia, you won't develop cervical cancer.
Who should get the HPV vaccine?
HPV vaccination is recommended for both boys and girls, starting in the ages of 9 to 11 and extending into the ages of the early to mid-20s. It tends to hurt more than many other vaccines, but besides that, there's no substantial risk to vaccination.
If you're not a candidate for the vaccine, or if you already have dysplasia, how can you best prevent cervical cancer?
The best way to prevent cervical cancer is to see a medical expert on a yearly basis for a pap smear. And pap smears have reduced the rate of cervical cancer substantially over the last 60 years. The majority of women who develop cervical cancer have not seen a medical expert in many years prior to their diagnosis.
You can learn more at 10tv.com/toward a cancer-free world.